Yes, because I have some really good information for you about pricing today. Now, I want to make sure that you know I'm not going to teach you everything there is to know about pricing today. That's not the point of today's video. What I want to do is cover the 5 main categories inside of the pricing formula that we teach in the Pricing for Profit course. I want to cover them here for you so you understand what they are. You could definitely take care of your pricing on your own using these categories. You could get into the course either way. I really just want you to have this information so that you can get into the business mindset of pricing. So hopefully you are not paying to make stuff for people, which I have seen bakers do before. We want to make sure that is not happening. Okay, let me bring up all the comment section. Yes. Okay, thank you for being patient with me. Okay, so again, my name is Melissa. I am the CEO and the main mentor at Build a Better Bakery. Our mission is to make baking business simple. Again, that is the whole point of this video today. We like to create this step-by-step accessible information and actual genuine support from real people who care, because the baking industry can be kind of lonely. So I'm a baker too, have been for 16 years, and I'm just here to help y'all out. Now, today's topic is about pricing like a pro. I'm not going to go over every single thing because I can't do that in 15 minutes. But again, I'm giving you that overview of how a professional baker would take care of their pricing to have a financially healthy business. This is not going to be a simple fix. So I mentioned when I talked to y'all about having this live in the group that materials times 3, that's a vague, I think, kind of dangerous formula that I hear is being taught in pastry schools and elsewhere. I don't really know why. It seems like a simple fix, but it's not safe. And I will explain why. So you might be wondering, why are there 5 parts to this? Why is this, more complicated than materials times 3? And you will see in just a few minutes. I'm gonna lay it all out for you. So if you're here on the replay, go ahead and throw up your hashtag replay. If you want to check the events in the group, you can see more videos like this. You can send me a friend request to Melissa Fryer in the Facebook platform. I will add you and I can send you invitations to these events when I make them every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right now. Or you can join our email list on the website for the weekly replay links and a couple other resources every week I send over to you to help you with your baking business. Okay, so my unpopular opinion, materials times 3 is not professional. Again, I don't know, it doesn't matter to me where you heard it. I just don't think it's healthy. It's a lacking formula because let's say you have crippling rent at your bakery. Okay, let's say you spend a ton of money on business development. Let's say you have insurance and you pay hundreds of dollars for insurance. Let's say you have no insurance. Let's say you owe the local mobster thousands, right? All of these examples are all these numbers in the background that aren't your materials. So materials times 3 formula literally does not take into account any of these numbers, which could be very different from person to person. And because it's not being taken into account, it's dangerous to use that for your pricing because you don't actually know if you're covering your costs or not. It just doesn't make sense to me. So if you can let that materials times 3 go, please do that today. If that's the only thing you take from me, to find something else, even if it's not what I'm saying, find something else more data driven than that. Okay, so here we like to use categories, we like to use charts, we like to use formulas, we like to use specifics because we support bakers being profitable, not by chance, not by oops, I'm profitable, but by design. So that's the whole point of this. Go ahead and throw me a hashtag live if you're here right now so I can see you. I see Allie's here. She says, in another group I'm in, there's a person who says they learned materials times 3 in culinary school. Yes, exactly. So again, I'm not totally sure where that's coming from because I don't understand it. I think it's maybe a starting point, but when you get to the point where you're trying to pay your personal bills with your baking business, either at home or commercial or whatever you're doing, I really feel like the data has to be taken into account or it's not going to work. You don't want it to be a surprise at the end of the month, and you definitely don't want it to be a surprise at tax time. So this is kind of like, it's scary to me that that's being taught because I don't get it. So that's why we're going to cover those 5 sections today. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. I'm going to lay it out for you. At the end, I have an option for you to get more information on literally me walking you through every single step. Or if you feel pretty confident about these, you can take the information and do it at home, whatever works for you. Okay. Number one, the one thing that materials times 3 gets right is materials. We have to keep eye on these. Generally, you're going to have the prices that you pay for your consumable goods on hand to create your prices. And these consumable goods are something, if you can try to categorize it, something that's going to be used quickly or will go bad at some point. So you're not going to keep it forever. You're not going to use it for over a year. It's something that is consumable. So you're going to want to keep an eye on these prices. And yes, this includes packaging and labels, etc., because usually you're going to go through those and they're consumable. You purchase it, you put it into the product, and you hand it off. You don't keep those items. So even though your boxes might not go bad, you will use them and send them out, right? So that's where I put those kinds of products, is in my consumable materials section of my pricing. Number 2, the other side of the coin is finding out how to get your clients to help pay for your tools that you aren't giving out, right? The parts, the things that you're using and will go, bad or break at some point, or are going to need to be replaced. How do we figure out a way to help them pay for that so we don't have to pay for it out of our own income that we think is income? That's like the biggest thing that happens with bakers, is they charge a certain amount, they think they're getting a certain amount, but hey, in the background, they're paying for their insurance, and they're paying to replace their mixer, and they're paying for aprons, and they're paying to replace their kitchen rags, and they're paying, all of these things that aren't materials, that are more tools that can be covered with something I call depreciation, right? You might have heard that term before in the tax world. I use that inside of the pricing formula to help collect a little bit of money on each client. So what you do is you use the formula inside the course, you figure out the depreciation you want to collect on each order, and each client pays a little bit into a big pot, which you hold in maybe a savings account or a different area. And that helps cover the replacement of your tools. So let's say something happens and you need another $500 mixer, you need it today. If you've been using this formula, you should have a fund sitting to the side of everything else. It's not your pay. It's part of a fund that your clients have been working to collect into, to pay into, and you can use that money to pay for your new tool. And again, the formula is set up to where it should equal out with each person paying over 1 year. You should have enough to, well, depending on how long the products are supposed to last, that's the basis of the formula, is the percentages that you're collecting on each. Number 3 is your overhead. Now, this is basically like the very simplest understanding, is this is going to be all of your bills that you pay or pay more to run your business. So let's say your electricity bill is normally $20 a month, and then you start baking and gosh, it's like $60 a month now. So it looks like you're probably spending about $40 a month in electricity. Again, there is a formula inside our Pricing for Profit course that helps you figure that out a little better, just to be sure you're getting that right. But that's an example of, yes, you're already paying your electricity bill, but if you're noticing an uptick and you're paying more on that bill, that percentage should be covered in your pricing because it's more money that you're paying. So anytime you think about charging a client for something, remember that that money is already coming out of your business. There's nothing that you can do about that. And someone's going to pay for it, and it shouldn't be you, because you're not the one receiving the service. You're the one providing the service. So anybody receiving the service should be, in my opinion, the one paying for what it costs to run the business. You'll do your best to keep your prices down by looking for deals and XYZ, but in the end, they're the customer, right? So if you can kind of switch that in your mind, if you feel like you should pay for that kind of stuff, I really suggest that you kind of understand that that's just coming out of your income, right? So if you think you're making $10 an hour, which after taxes is going to be lower than minimum wage in the US, let's say you think you're making $10 an hour. After everything's all said and done, if they're not actually paying to run the business through their purchases, you're just paying to run the business and you're probably not making anything. So if the point is to be financially healthy, we need to keep an eye on this kind of stuff. And as an employer, if you have people on your payroll or you want to have people on your payroll, this is usually the section, if you're using the five-part formula, where you would have that input as your payroll. So not what you get paid, not what you're taking home, but what you're paying out to other people to help you run your business. Number 4 would be like labor, personal pay. Kind of depends on if you work with other people or not, what you want to call this section. If you work alone, it could be salary, labor, wages, whatever it is you want. But this is separate from other people being paid. This is just you. So whatever you want to call this part, this is what you're personally going to take home. This could be an hourly wage. This could be a percentage of sales. There's lots of ways to kind of envision a salary, right? There's ways to envision, how do I want to get paid from this and what can that look like? And then that would be input to that part of your 5-part formula. Everyone's going to have a different fit. So you just have to look at what's going on around you and how you want that to look. And also the type of things you sell and how you sell them. And number 5 is business profit. So I want you to, this is not your money, okay? Business profit is like, imagine your business is a person or like another entity. This is just for your business. And what I like to do is grab this percentage. Again, it's within the formula, figuring out how much you want to have each client contribute. And you're going to put this into something maybe like a savings account or something similar so that you can use it for business purposes to help grow your business. That's how I like to use it, at least. So I don't pay my taxes with this money. I don't pay myself with this money. I don't pay anyone else. It's like if my business wanted stuff. So I can maybe use it to add something special to my business, maybe add a website, maybe get a down payment for a big item or something similar like that, right? So it's sort of your business's little stockpile. And then I actually have a bonus section. So that's 5 different sections. We've done materials, overhead, depreciation, business profit, and labor, wages for you, salary, however you want to call it, whatever the word feels best, whichever word feels best for you. Those 5 things. The very last bonus section is just a simple savings account for your taxes. So if you are paying taxes on your business, in most places, there's going to be a limit to how much you can make before you have to start paying taxes. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure the US is like around $400 in sales a year, and that's not very much. So if you're selling baked goods, more than likely you're selling over $400 a year, which means you probably need to be paying some taxes. This is different than sales tax and things that are different state by state. I'm just talking about federal tax, self-employment tax. Just really quick note on this for people who are thinking, oh, I don't really want to pay taxes. I want to keep all that money, XYZ. I do want to point out that number 1, if you aren't paying taxes, but you're working, it's going to look like you haven't been working. So if you ever want to get a job somewhere or show that you've had a business for X amount of years or whatever, it's going to look like you didn't because you weren't filing taxes. Secondly, when you file your self-employment taxes, you're also paying into, I think it's Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare, and those types of kind of like money pools that you might want to pull from when you retire. So if you don't pay into that, there's not going to be that money later. So just kind of keep in mind, hey, you know, if I want to look like I've been working and if I want to kind of be putting into those pools for later on, I should probably pay my taxes and then, you know, put that in. So just a little, my opinion, do what you want. That is what I think about it. Yes, they're taking some of the money. You can work it into your pricing, depending on how you want that to look. But when you are putting that money into a savings account to pay for your taxes, I suggest saving between 30 to 40% so that hopefully when it comes tax time, maybe you won't have to pay anything. Maybe you'll have enough deductions, which is something we talk about in the pricing course. I have a whole tax section in there giving you some tips on the best deductions for bakers. If you can get that in there, and I'm not I just want to say, disclaimer, not a tax agent. This is my opinion. I don't guarantee anything. Okay. So nobody get me in trouble. I'm just giving my opinion. But it is smart to have 30 to 40% set aside. So when it comes time, you can pay them. And then some of that will go into your, you know, your little bundle accounts for when you retire and show that you have work history and all that kind of good stuff. And, you know, keep this place nice with the taxes if they're using it for the right kind of stuff, right? Okay. Let me read these comments real quick. Hey, Sarah. Yeah, Allie agrees it doesn't work for sure. Hey, Leah. Hey, Jessica. So yeah, Social Security, that's what I was missing, Sarah. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, exactly. So those are part of the federal taxes when you do self-employment, for sure. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is just an overview of the categories. I want to get everyone primed to how I like to deal with pricing, how I like to get it really, not necessarily super specific, but very categorized so that you have a really good idea of money coming in, money going out, where do I need to save money, how can I situate my pricing to help pay for each of these things so that I don't end up with just some money and then I have to figure out where's everything going. If you use a formula like this, it will tell you where to put it. It will tell you what needs to go where. And then you can, it's kind of like budgeting, right? You can like situate things out so that there's less to worry about for income, like how much am I actually making this month? There's less to worry about as far as savings goes, tax time, buying new supplies. All of that's kind of like, maybe you'll have to grab something from somewhere else if you have a big problem or issue, but most of it's taken care of when you do that pre-planning of setting up your formula, setting up your price based on the formula, and then you just charge prices and everything's kind of like, you know, you do the front end work and then everything just works like a machine from there on out. And you don't have to be guessing on what's going on. Now, I will say that I know a lot of people, bakers are sometimes emotional. We're creative. When we sell something to someone, we're selling a piece of ourselves. It's something we've made. It's something we've, you know, cried over. And it's important to us that they like it, but it's also important to us that we feel valued and we don't feel like we're taking advantage of people. Bakers are very giving. And because of that, I think that really good quality gets in the way of pricing because we think there might be a lot of emotional pricing happening. Emotional pricing is like, I feel like it should be X. That's not real pricing because I feel like is not data. That's how you feel, but that doesn't mean that it's covering your bills. Does that make sense? So I think when we price like that, when we try to match competitors without looking at our numbers, when we try to do like fun pricing, you know, like, oh, this should be $20 because it's going to be easier to sell. But when you do the numbers, it actually should be like $27. So if you sell it for 20 because you think it's easier to sell it that way, you're losing $7. Really, it should have been $30 if you're going to round it up. You know, so just having these numbers in front of you is just going to make you a stronger business owner. It's going to make sure that you're financially healthy. It's going to make sure that every single person that's wanting to spend money with you, they're paying for you to be around. They're paying for you to stick around. They like what you have. So the last thing they want is for you to go out of business because you don't know how to price your stuff, right? So, and I also don't want you paying to serve people. I think you should be making an income because you're working for someone just like anyone else works for someone, right? And I think that our skills are worthwhile. And I think that we add a really good element to a community and we, you know, provide joy and happiness and we make occasions better. And we're kind of like, you know, I think we should be celebrated and be able to support our families. So because of all of that, inside the Pricing for Profit course, if you've ever been inside or heard about it, there are multiple sections inside that also talk about haggling, how to deal with that. All of the sections of emotional pricing, what are they? Are you experiencing them? How to kind of get a mindset shift from that to move on to more professional pricing, you know, strategy as you're thinking about what you're doing rather than just going the emotional end. You then get some of the data, some of the direct pricing end. So you can kind of work through that without feeling bad, essentially. There's tons of support videos in there. There are charts. We end up with I made a pricing chart for you at the end where you can plug all your numbers in. I have a couple different options. So for those who do cakes, cookies, treats, a couple different versions, and they're just templates. So you can come in and change them out. All that's in there for you, waiting for you with 24/7 access, lifetime access after you join, after you enroll in that specific course. And it's on Teachable right now. So if any of that seems like, oh, I should, you know, it would be easier for me to do this if I had some help, all that's in there. And I told you about a little surprise inside the course, which some of you might know about, some of you might not. I think it's on the information page for it. But what I did is I included a free month of mentorship inside of our signature High Touch Elite program. that goes along with the course. So if you enroll in the course, you can join the Elite Mentorship program for a month for free at any time. So as you're working through your pricing, you're going to be able to have that in-group connection with me in there and the other mentors if you have any questions about how you're doing what you're doing, or of course, any other aspect of your business that we have information on in our vault library. You can cover that, you can ask about it. You can stick with us long-term in there, or you can just take that month in there and get what you need to get done. Totally up to you, but that's a little surprise inside of the course after you enroll. That's in there for you. Okay. Yes, a bonus. Bonus section, so technically 6 sections, but yes. So we have materials, overhead, depreciation, wages, labor, salary, whatever you want to call it, business profit, and then the very last one is your tax savings account, 30 to 40% of what you are getting in your monies. So your salary, labor, wages, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're taking, save that to the side for the end of the year so that there's no surprises. Hopefully you'll be able to take some of that out and just have it for yourself. But that's just a way to keep yourself protected as you move through the year. All right, that's it for me today. If you have any questions, let me know. You can post under this video. We can chat about it more. I have, I think, 1 or 2 articles in the blog that cover more of this information. You can message me directly. I have information for that course, the Pricing for Profit, if you want to look at it. I also decided I would make a special code for anyone who's viewing this through the end of the day. I like y'all to come live. I know this 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time doesn't work for everyone every day. That's fine. But if you're the type of person who is viewing this content and you really care about it, I have a special code for you to get a discount on that course if you want it. Okay, so send me a direct message on whatever platform you're seeing this on, and I'll hand that over to you by the end of today. Today's August 4th, okay? You can send that to me. All right, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out. It might have felt like a lot. You can rewatch it a couple times, take some notes. Let me know if you need anything as far as pricing goes. Or if you have other questions that I didn't cover, let me know. I can maybe do a live about it later, all right? I'm off to ice some cupcakes for my husband's promotion party because today is Thursday Fave Day, my husband's promotion, my kid's first day of school, and the day I'm supposed to bake all my brunch boxes. So here we are. So it's good to hang out. I'll see y'all later, and I hope you have a lovely Thursday.